That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Antrum, the deadliest film ever made, which is the directorial debut of David Amito and Michael Laicini. Sorry to this man if I'm not saying his last name correctly. It premiered at the 2018 Brooklyn Horror Film Festival. And it's now available on Amazon Prime for streaming. And maybe Joseph can explain why we're talking about this film.
Well, recently clips of the film have gone viral on Tik Tok. So that caught my attention. I watched the trailer and it fooled me. I thought this was a real movie. I don't think movies can kill people, but I thought this was an actual film. And what we watched was a documentary based on the film. But it's not. It's a mockumentary about a fake film. The premise is the film opens with what seems like a documentary about this film called Antrum that was screened once in Budapest, in like 1987 something.
86 or 7. It burned. The theater burned to the ground.
The theater that screened it like spontaneously burst into flames, and all 50-some people inside were killed. So it was never seen again. And then there are people who are from these like fake film festivals, like the Colorado Film Festival, talking about how the film was shopped around and no one wanted to see it, but anyone who had mysteriously died.
Film programmers were dying, yes.
Film programmers around the world were dying after viewing it.
In ways that are not unlike how Damien killed people in The Omen, if you think about it, but sure.
So it's like 15 minutes of that nonsense until the actual film Antrum starts.
Well, there's a warning first.
Very much like William Castle.
Well, it's a William Castle gimmick, yes. It might as well be the fright meter that you see in Homicidal. But
so really quickly, the plot of Antrum, that film
within the film
is a brother and sister go into the woods to bury.
No, the small boy is convinced that their dog Maxine was cursed and her soul is in hell.
She was a bad dog because she bit him.
So yes, so the sister says, "I'll take you to the spot where Lucifer fell to earth, and we'll dig a hole to hell, and we'll place the dog's collar in there.
And that will release the dog."
Yeah, or some such nonsense. Yeah.
So they proceed to dig this hole. Weird things start happening. Not unlike the Blair Witch Project.
Well, because she has a grimoire which shows them where to dig, and then the film Antrum is divided into
the 5 levels
chapters
of hell.
named after the 5 layers of Earth in between us and hell.
Or the 5 layers to hell. So obviously they make it to hell. The poor boy, so throughout the sequence, at a point they see like some weirdo guys who have so a man he's Japanese because he's speaking Japanese, right?
Yeah.
A Japanese man attempts seppuku.
Yes, but
randomly they witness this Japanese man attempting to kill himself.
Which when they get to the forest, there's a suicide prevention posting, so it's kind of like they're going to a place that's kind of like the Sea of Trees in Japan.
They interrupt him, he runs off. Then we see that there are 2 sort of creepy men, not unlike something from
Joe Exotic.
Or I was thinking that film by
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, and similar, but who's the guy who's a musician who makes horror films? We just watched his movie. He's married to that lady with the blonde.
Oh, Rob Zombie.
He made a movie. What are those 3 people?
Oh, three from Hell.
Yes, kind of like that.
Which is the 3rd part of a trilogy that's House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So they see these 2 guys who are like burning the Japanese man in this like metal oven that looks like a goat from hell.
White trash, yes. But also we see them copulating with an animal corpse.
Yeah, one of the guys is having sex with what looks like a deer or something. Anyway, they spot the brother and the sister. They appear to shoot them, but then like the next scene, they're like alive and awake in cages. They end up escaping the cages, killing the 2 men, but the boy escapes. He ends up reaching the 5th layer to hell, so we assume that he has gone to hell because his sister is searching for him. and she sees like a demon in the trees, and that's kind of the end of the film. And then the documentary part restarts, and they explain like all the symbolism in the film and blah blah blah.
Sigils, all about sigils.
Okay, so this should be quick. I thought the premise of the film was very interesting, and it's unique. Yeah. I think it was a great idea. It's just not very well executed.
It isn't well executed because
first of all, the people in the documentary, these experts, like the film programmers, they have a theologist.
I believe the director's playing one of them, but yeah.
They seem poorly informed. It just doesn't sound real. Like instantly we were like, oh, this is fake. Like super fake. The actual film Antrum is supposed to be shot in the late 70s, early 80s.
79, and then it was shopped around film programmers in 80s.
It doesn't look like a film that was shot in the late 70s.
If you watch the trailer and they show clips of that Antrum, you can get a sense of the ambiance and tone, but watching it for an extensive period of time, no, it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, it just looks like it was shot on digital with like a filter or something.
Yeah.
So that was a little disappointing. That being said, I think there are a lot of good parts to the film. And I had said that I think this film deserves being remade, like just Antrum, the actual fake film, by someone who maybe a little more skilled in storytelling. But
yeah, I think that it would be so much better if she was actually led her brother there to be sacrificed to Satan, but the little boy doesn't know until too late, and blah 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 blah.
There were a lot of things I thought would make this film better. If they wanted to do the documentary approach, I kind of wish they would have maybe, like the actual Antrum film would have been shorter. So there's the opening sort of like people talking about it. They screen the film, which is maybe 50 some minutes, and then we spend time dissecting it. Because it's only in the credits at the end that they kind of break down what we saw very quickly. And that was interesting, despite the people explaining it seeming like they were just actors.
It's an
talking about nonsense.
It's an odd hybrid because it's almost like maybe the film could have been in the present, and the effects of watching this film, not unlike like Nicolas Cage watching 8mm, that snuff film, and the effects that it has on the people watching it, like Candyman, even like that. Yeah. I find that the urban legends about many cursed productions are fascinating, like Macbeth, Poltergeist, what happened to the little girl from Poltergeist. But this is all about the power of suggestion. So how willing are you? It's like in the Skeleton Key. Do you believe? Because if you don't believe, this is just a bunch of hooey to me. I think he does what William Friedkin did in The Exorcist very blatantly, is projecting all these little things that we're supposed to pick up on and I guess go, ooh.
The film within the film is not good enough to be creepy.
No.
And the suggestions are very obvious.
And there are so many films about the portal to hell being opened up. Like there's a really good Lucio Fulci film, The Beyond. I even really liked, you saw this movie, which is kind of corny, but it was a big budget movie from Universal, I think, As Above, So Below, where in France they go into hell. Do you remember that?
Where it's like in the sewer?
Yeah.
Oh, I do remember.
Yeah, that had some interesting moments too.
I thought the premise of like a brother and sister going into the woods and digging a hole to hell sounded creepy on its own. And it could have been very simple and basic. I just think it was trying really hard, and it was very overt. And
I needed the demeanor of the girl, who's played by Nicole Tompkins, to be different. I think
because her intentions were not clear to me, so it wasn't creepy.
No.
And then by the time we realized that because she says like, I was just kidding, I made this up. It's like, well, we didn't think you were serious. I mean, it's just like, it was too late.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah. I would give this film 2 out of 5.
I would give this film 1 out of 5.
I do think it's interesting, and I would like to see someone do something like this, but better. So, because, I love horror, and I think new ways to creep people out are fun to experience. And I did enjoy watching this film enough.
Sure.
Yeah, but it definitely doesn't live up to the trailer.
No.
Yeah. That's all I have.
Same.
Okay, bye.
Bye.